What is up, everybody? I'm Johnny Blacklight. Welcome to the channel. Here we talk about all kinds of weird stuff. Cryptids, UAPs, conspiracies, glitches in the Matrix itself, and more. Subscribe and stay a while. But yeah, man, I found this really creepy encounter story here on TikTok, and I really wanted to bring it to YouTube and do a little reaction to it, man. Creepy Appalachia stuff, man, so let's get into it.
I'm going to tell you one here that's kind of out of the norm for the wild shit that I usually put on here. Y'all ever fucked around with paranormal shit? Like haints and stuff like that? And I know a lot of people don't believe in it, and those people hear folks talk about it and think they're crazy and fuck. I've seen stuff. I know what I've seen too. Here's a story of one of those times. You know, my first job was a night watchman on old coal mine property and stuff. You know, they'd send me here, there, and everywhere just to watch equipment and mine sites and just make sure nobody broke in and got up on a mountain and partied and shit like that. It was a pretty chill gig, but you'd see shit. And I seen something. I was watching in a place called Rocky Branch, Kentucky. It's going up towards Path Fork there. You know, you going up 119, you hang that left up there at Harrod's gas station where they put water in your fuel tank instead of gasoline. And I was up there that night. I'd been watching up there for a couple weeks, you know. And this is a pretty chill spot. I had one single piece of equipment to watch. It's just one excavator. That was all that was up there, because it was abandoned mine land and they was reclaiming it. So they wasn't nothing up there but that excavator, but they still wanted to make sure there wasn't no dope heads or nothing get up there and rob shit off of it. And I was up there one night, like I usually was, just hanging around and doing my thing. Wasn't no phone signal, wasn't no way to entertain myself, so I just had a little headlamp, reading a book, doing this, that, and the other. As I sat there, you know, I would always keep my window about halfway down. That way I could listen out around, you know. I keep my headlights cut off and my engine cut off and stuff like that, save gas, shit. I started hearing something over the berm in the weeds, in that little reclaim grass there. And you know, you'd hear shit, you know, through the night. You know, you'd every now and then you'd hear a coyote run through, or they'd be yipping off in the distance somewhere, or, you know, little field mice running around skittering, or every now and then you'd catch a bear just snooping around because he'd smell whatever food you had in your dinner bucket. But that's what I thought it was. You know, I just thought it was like a bear or something. So I done my thing. You know, I got to looking, and I cut my headlights on for a second. At first I didn't see anything, so I cut them back off. You know, I grabbed my pistol just in case, you know, because you hear noise but don't see anything. You don't know what it is. But I cut my headlights on again. I didn't start my truck. I just cut my lights on, and I seen some movement over the berm there, and I didn't know what it was, but slowly and surely it just started. It walked up over top of the berm, and to this day I have no idea what the fuck it was that I seen. This thing, it walked kind of like hunched over, you know, just, and it had real long arms, almost dragged the ground, but it didn't. Like, it kept its arms held back a little bit, you know. But its shape was kind of humanoid looking, like it was built like a person. It was extremely fucking skinny, and its skin was kind of like grayish looking. And obviously I got scared. But what kind of got me, you know, it had like real long black hair, but its head was shaped kind of like a only way I could describe it's kind of like a horse skull, kind of. And the flesh on it looked like it'd been rotten and shit. Like you could see bone and a little bit of muscle tissue here and there. But it had these big old fucking eyes. This kind of yellowish red. It's kind of like white, then, you know, the fucking red part, and then a real bright white and like whitish yellow in the middle. And as it moved through there, it kind of made like a, I don't know the word to describe it, like it's kind of like, you know how whenever you get the wind knocked out of you and you're like gasping and trying to talk at the same time? That's pretty much what it sounded like. It just, every time it would take like a really loud gasp, it would have kind of like a groan in behind it. And it walked up on top of the berm and walked out into the road for a second and shot up into the damn reclaim. It was at this point pants shit house.
Yeah, dude.
I started my truck.
Big time.
I grabbed a Bible, because I always pack a Bible in my vehicle. Hold on a second.
Good call.
Where's that? I always pack a Bible in my vehicle. And I grabbed that Bible, and I threw that truck into gear, and I took the fuck off out of there. I got about 3/4 of the way around the mountain to where you start off to go down towards the main highway. And that I finally got phone signal back in, and I called my boss and I told him, I said, look, and I told him the whole story, and obviously he called me a bullshitter. You know, like that's completely fine. I don't give a fuck. I know what I seen. But like, it shook me up pretty bad. I called him and I told him every bit of that, and he called me a bullshitter, and I said, that's fine, but I said, look, man, I said, you will not put me back up here again. You won't. I said, I'm going to go to the highway and I'm going to see it. There is something up there that I don't want nothing to do with. And explain the whole situation, and eventually he understood, you know. And I sat down there at the edge of the main highway that was lit up good with street lights and shit, vehicles going by and stuff like that. Like, I felt safer down there than I did up there.
Big time.
And finally my relief came in that morning, and I told him all about it, and he looked at me and all nonchalant, he said, oh yeah, you'll see that thing up there every now and then. Fuck that.
Yeah, man, dude, for real.
Like, fuck that.
Agreed.
Like, I still think about that sometimes, man.
It was wild.
Like, even to this day, you know, I work night shift on a strip job, dude. I work on top of Black Mountain, which is like, it's the highest point in Kentucky. And this mountain in particular has a bunch of shit associated with it that a lot of people say is paranormal too. Which luckily I've not seen very many things up here, but every now and then, you know, when I step out of the cab or whatever equipment I'm in, I think about that sometimes. Like, I don't know. Call me crazy, call me a bullshitter if you want to, but I know what I seen. I know exactly what I seen. I don't know what it's called. I don't know if there's a name for it. But, yeah. This is pretty much the place I seen that son of a bitch at. Right up there above Rocky Branch on that old strip road. Where that pin's dropped at was where that excavator sat. I sat right in front of that excavator. In fact, this right here is the truck and the excavator. I took that on that job at right around the same point that I seen that motherfucker at. That's pretty much my setup right there. I'd sit either beside or in front of that excavator with my window down. Yeah.
Dude, that's such a creepy encounter, man. Whew, it's spooky. Give me goosebumps, man, just thinking about it. But yeah, just the humanoid-esque description of the body. And then the kind of not deer elements, too, with like the rotting flesh. Kind of reminds me of the not deer stories. Obviously, Wendigo vibes with the head. And those sounds, man. That wheezing sound. Man, just imagine seeing something like that and hearing just a loud wheezing every time it goes to move like that. Dude, so unsettling. And this guy sounds very sure about what he's seen. You know what I mean? He doesn't sound like a bullshitter like he's saying here. Sounds like he knows what he saw. So he definitely saw something. Deep in the heart of Appalachia here, highest point in Kentucky. So who knows, man? Who knows what's going on? And then you got, somebody ran into. It's like, yeah, you'll see that thing around here. Dude, no way, man. That's so crazy. So we have a location there, man. So who knows, man? If you're all brave enough to go check it out, let me know if you'll find anything. But yeah, man, I just wanted to jump on and talk about this story because this one really captivated me, man. And I wanted to do a little reaction to it and just kind of share it. But what do you think, man? What do you think of his story? Do you think it's legit? Have you ever seen anything like that before? If so, let me know in the comments. Let's talk about it. But yeah, man, that's going to do it for the video. I hope you enjoyed. I'm Johnny Blacklight. Subscribe for more. Y'all have a good one. And I'll see you next time.